Apologies for this commercial interruption. If you love Sandy like I do, please check out his YouTube channel. I will leave a link down below. And if you love board games, please check out petersengames.com. The reason I don't know this is because when my first real online game was like StarCraft 2. When I moved to Canada, I was like 7, so it was like 2001. So when I lived in Serbia, we didn't play online competitive games of any kind. It was like you were lucky to have a computer. So for me, AoE 1 is blurry because I wasn't there for the history. I joined for AoE 2.
Well, here's some history of online gaming then. So in 1991, Dan Bunton, later Daniel Barry, I was the developer for his game Command HQ.
Okay.
And Command HQ was in fact really the first RTS. I mean, you can find other things that you can claim, but this is the first real like RTS game. It was the whole world, and you'd move around in the world, control units. It was real time. Now you could pause the game, right, to think for a while, then go back in and do it, which you could also technically do in Age of Empires.
Right.
But you had tanks and airplanes and subs and carriers and different things doing stuff. We even had a version of the game where the map was hidden. You explored it, even though it was Earth. You didn't know where the stuff was. You captured resources, and Dan made it so you could play it head to head. Now, of course, it's 91. It's with a modem, right?
Right.
And Dan's argument was it's way more fun to play as a human, which is absolutely true. He was always a leader in trying to go head to head play. Okay, and of course, no one ever played head to head. And he said 65% of people have a modem. They can play this, and gamers are probably likelier than other people, so they could in fact play this head to head, and it's super fun that way. And we played it that way at the office to try it out, and it was super fun. And his AI was actually fairly sucky because he was so focused on playing against a human. Okay, so we launched this game and put it out there, and it in effect bombed. It made back enough money to pay my salary and Dan's salary, but it wasn't a giant success. People, even with 65% having modems, they weren't ready. Because, of course, modems, you know how you had to dial up the modem and had to go...
It was a pain.
With the shriek, and then it drops your packets, and right. So it didn't work. So I go to id Software, and we're doing Doom, and we set it up on our in-house network to play Doom head-to-head. And lo and behold, that was like a really fun way to play. But we all agreed. I told them about my experience with Command HQ, and they all agreed, oh yeah, no one's ever going to play it head-to-head. That'll be like 5%, 2% of the people will play it head-to-head. That was our logic.
Right.
But one of the other things that it did is we didn't do things in the game based on like the most commercially viable thing. At least we didn't think we were. We were doing things based on what was fun. We were trying to do something I've never forgotten is if you make the game that you yourself really like, ignoring what the suits or the marketing gurus say, then there should be enough people that are weird like you to buy it.
Right.
So we made the game we really wanted to play, which was Space Marines against demons, and then with a head-to-head mode.
That extends to all other things too, right? That extends to content, your music, whatever you really want, right? It doesn't...
The bland corporate stuff is not the thing that makes a huge hit.
Right. And there's so many of these companies that are out to find this magical formula for...
I'm looking for the magical formula, and they just fail. A good example is, I was watching a video today about the Aragon franchise. Remember that?
Aragon?
Remember how you don't care about the Aragon movie? You can barely remember it?
No.
Totally soulless corporate. Am I wrong?
I don't remember this at all. Yeah, this is...
It was totally an Aragon movie. There was a big book. There was a movie with dragons and magic and an evil king. and John Malkovich.
Malkovich was in it.
He's in it.
I love Malkovich.
He was terrible. I love him too. Jeremy Irons is in it, and he's the one good guy in it, right? And everyone...
Oh, yeah, I know this. Yeah.
And no one remembers it because it was terrible corporate crap, right? As to compare, J.K. Rowling, when she was trying to do the Harry Potter books, she wasn't trying to do corporate crap.
Right.
She got rejected like a billion times.
Right.
And finally got it done. And then she kept creative influence over the movies, which I don't know how much of that was good and bad, but overall it made it be her vision still. Anyway, so in Doom, we said, we're going to have a head-to-head play, even though it's stupid, because it's fun for us. And we can play it that way. And then we had some exciting things happen, which I've talked about in other videos, but I'll talk about to you. So John Carmack only likes to program things that are fun for him.
Really?
And why shouldn't he, right? Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's like that now, but back in the 90s, that was his thing.
Right.
But he loved 3D. He always cared about 3D. So he didn't want to do networking code. So we contacted a guy, I think he was in California, who was an expert networker, and said, come work for us and do our networking code. He says, oh, no, I got to finish my job here, but I'll come work for you when I'm done. And while I'm here, I'll tell my boss, and I'll work part-time on your networking code, for which you'll pay me $20,000 or whatever, some pretty good sum for 3 months' work, right?
Right.
And then I'll give you the networking code, and then I'll come work for you. So we're sitting there, and it's 2 weeks before we're supposed to release Doom. It's like the 1st of December, and we're trying to release it before Christmas. and we got no networking code to put in our stuff, and because it requires some degree of testing, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So we called the guy's company, and remember, he told us his boss knew he was leaving to come work for us. It was all okay with him.
I've heard this story, and I want to let you finish, but I also have a question about this story at the end.
So we called them. Okay, so first of all, if your question is like, how could we be so stupid? The answer is it was amazingly amateurish. Okay,
that was not my question, but that's a good question. I should have thought of it.
And I got a story about the amateurish thing too. The amateur hour thing too. So we call them up, and the boss says, "Oh, you mean I don't remember the guy's name? I'll call him Fred." Okay.
Okay, Fred.
So oh, you mean Fred? We go, yeah. Where's our networking code? He says, Fred says he's going to go work for you. We said, yeah, didn't he tell you? He said he did. He says, oh, you know what? Fred's a really good programmer, but he's also a pathological liar, and he's not ever leaving here. We know he's not. You can talk to him if you want, but he just totally lied to you and took your money and pocketed it.
My question was to that, like, who is the boss that knows he's hiring a pathological liar, and how valuable does this guy have to be to maintain his spot with that knowledge?
That's something we never found out, but it does raise questions, doesn't it?
Was this guy like a savant? Like, he must have been something special. Yeah.
Nephew? Did he have photographs of the boss having sex with a cow? I don't know.
Maybe he was just that good.
Maybe he was just that good. I've worked with dysfunctional programmers who were really good, and were still dysfunctional. Not one that was a pathological liar.
Yeah, okay? That's a big risk to take.
One, Silas Warner, who when he went to convention, he wrote science fiction, and when he went to conventions, he went by a different name. His pen name is the author, and if you talked to him, called him Silas, he'd shut you down. He wasn't Silas. He was this other guy at the convention, and so by the way, this guy is the person that designed the original.
The Network Fred?
This is not Network Fred. This is a different guy, Silas Warner. Silas Warner designed the original Wolfenstein, not the 3D one.
Oh.
But the original one. Right?
The first one. The very first one. Wow. The
very first one. And he also designed the, I can't think of the name of the game, but you program robots.
You program robots?
It's like Robo Rally, but on a computer. But it is before Robo Rally. Where he said, go forward, turn right, go left, shoot. And then you're trying to fight that. Robo Wars, I think it was called.
Yeah, okay. I don't know which one it is, but it sounds very familiar. That sounds.
Yeah, it's all stuff for like 1988, right? So,
yeah.
Anyway, so dysfunctional. Anyway, back to our guy. So anyway, there we are, 2 weeks before Doom's release. We have no network code. This guy's not going to give us any. Maybe we could launch a lawsuit against him, but
what's that going to do?
Wanted to do that,
yeah,
because we were stupid, and because it's not like we're taking time from us. We just hire a lawyer, right? And but we still felt poor because our previous game we're making money off is Wolfenstein 3D, so we aren't actually rich guys.
Well, you said like you have to have a hit every 1 year, right? Like you have this amount of money that you make, which you use to fund your next project, right? So you're always juggling.
Yeah. And that money is going away. And when you hire new guys to make the next thing bigger, that makes the money go away faster. And you don't have yet that next big hit.
You're at the casino putting money down on red every time.
Right. And so you can go to the light side or the dark side. And the dark side is EA firing the team as soon as the game comes out, so they don't have to pay them anymore.
Right.
And that's just wrong, right?
Yeah, that's pretty evil.
But on the other hand, if you go into EA knowing they're going to do that, then you can...
Sure. You can use it to your advantage. I
recommend my single students at SMU for game development. I would say if you get a job offer from EA and you're not married, absolutely go there. It looks great on your resume. Everyone figures you've seen the worst. You'll learn a lot. Just don't expect to stay there because they'll fire you.
Yeah.
You know, get what you can out of it and then leave. Anyway, so John Carmack said, we got to have networking code. So basically, our networking code was super, super terrible. And what it did, I forget the exact way it worked, but essentially, you'd be on a network, and everything that was playing Doom would send packets out to every other server, every other computer on the network, and get packets back. So if you had 4 servers, that was 4 times 4, 16 every second. Then if you had 100 servers, it was 100 times 100, 10,000. Then if you see how it goes up.
It's an overload eventually.
It's an overload. And so this crashed mostly college systems all over America, and it got banned everywhere within a month.
Why was it even able to? How did schools even allow it to be played in the first place?
No one had ever had a game like this. No one had ever had a head-to-head game.
Right.
There's no rules against having one.
Right. Now it's like you can't go on a school computer and you install like an add-on for Chrome. Like they have so much.
Well, yeah, no, that's crazy, right? But these it was their own personal computers or the company. Anyway, so it crashed all the systems, so it got banned. But the thing is, it's not that we had crappy networking code. It's that we had a genius programmer that only had 2 weeks to make and incorporate networking code, and he wasn't particularly expert at networking. So really, the fact that it worked as well as it is great. So what happened? We realized it was not going to fly. We hired an actual good networking guy to go in there and
give
a
real system. Yeah,
have us a real system. So we did that. So that was the thing. So the other thing I was going to. So what was the other? Oh, it's
amateurishness.
Okay, so we need an artist, right? And we need specifically a 3D artist because our artists, Kevin Cloud and Adrian Carmack, are 2D artists. Great at textures, fabulous at textures, in fact. But, they don't build 3D models. I mean, they could learn how to do it, but,
Right, that's a waste of their expertise.
It's kind of a waste of their time, right? And so we call this guy, hey, you're an artist, right? And he goes, you bet. So we fly him in. And at the let's meet this guy luncheon, we say, so tell us about your 3D work. And he's like, oh, I don't do 3D work at all. And we're like, what? So we flew him back on the next plane.
Did you cancel the luncheon right there that minute?
No, we finished the luncheon and laughed about it. It wasn't his fault, right?
Right.
Then Kevin Cloud said afterwards, we're in software. We don't use a phone. We send a plane. It was so stupid.
From that point on, at least one phone interview before you fly him out, I hope.
And ask the relevant question.
Yeah. Hey, are you the thing we're looking for or not?
Exactly, right? So